Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, hi, my name is Jyotsna and welcome to my Booktube channel where I talk about books. And this video is coming after a very long time. A lot of things happened in the month of June. I think my last upload was way back, ages back, weeks back. But yes, I'm slowly getting back now. It's been a bit on and off on YouTube in the past few months because of a lot of reasons. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can do it much better and put videos out there in a much organized manner. Although I do not know what is the ETA for that. But one of the biggest videos that we've missed out to do in these past couple of months is the wrap up for May and the wrap up for June. And I had plans to do this just last weekend, but unfortunately, again, I injured myself. And why are people ringing the bell at night? Okay, so let's just forget about unwanted guests at this point of time. But my point being this, that yes, we are yet to explore the books that I read in May and the books that I read in June. Now, this video is of course divided into two parts: the books that I read in May and the books that I read in June, and there are timestamps in the description box below for you to navigate throughout the entire video. Okay, so let's start with the books that I read in May, and of course this is in the order that I read it and not specifically in the order that I'm rating it, right? So you can keep navigating to see how much did I actually like those books, down in the description box below. So the first book that I finished in May 2022 was The Five Wounds. This is one of my favorite books of this year. It's a brilliant book, and still I do not know how to pronounce the author's name. This is totally my bad. I'm very sorry, Kirsten. I should have done my research better before this video. So basically this book is about Amadeo, who is a very insecure man. He is 33. He has no stable job, and when his daughter gets pregnant, she's just 16, she moves back home in order to have a support system around her. And this is the story of family, it's the story of relationships, it is the story of this small community in New Mexico in the US, and how these guys are like very religious, and a lot of aspects regarding family come from religion for them. I think this is a very, very well written book. It was a total 5 stars from me. This topped my list when I was reading for the Booktube prize. Of course, the Booktube prize video is down below so that you don't miss it out. And I highly recommend it to anybody who is a fan of literary fiction. So the next book that I read was Hell of a Book by Jason Bott, and this won the National Book Award last year. Again, this was about the Booktube prize, and if you watched my Booktube prize video, then you know about this book and my feelings regarding it. But again, I found this to be really brilliant. I felt that it did deserve to win the National Book Award, and it kind of talks about racism in a very unique format, because there is an author and he's written a book. He's a black author, and he starts having these hallucinations about dead people, like a dead black kid specifically, and that's how the story starts. It's very interesting to see how aspects about race and how aspects about discrimination are covered in the book, and that's why I really liked it. Unfortunately, this did not make it to the next round of the Booktube prize, which I'm of course sad about. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. I really recommend it as well. Of course, it would be more relatable to Western audiences, to be honest, than those in Asia. The next book is Percival Everett's The Trees, which is supposed to be like a groundbreaking book which covers racism and discrimination in rural USA, but for me this did not work out much. I do explain this much more in detail in my Booktube prize video, but it just felt very rhetorical. Like, it had a very good start where there is a dead white man and then there is a dead black man, and everybody in this racist town thinks that it's the black man who killed the white man before killing himself, and for some reason that's the only story they want to stick to. And that's when the Mississippi State Police, they send 2 detectives, and that too 2 black detectives, in like an all white town to investigate the case. The context is, I would say, intriguing. The writing, I think, was also good, but then the way the plot was designed was very rhetorical, and I just felt like, what was the point of all of this build up? What was the point of all of this setup? I didn't enjoy it much. The next book that I finished was Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr, and let me tell you, I really loved All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and that still remains one of the best books I've read in that particular year, because I remember reading this in 2018 or so. But let me tell you, Cloud Cuckoo Land is like an overwritten book. It's a good book. Of course, if you're in the mood for some huge, chunky read, then maybe this is the book for you. But if you are not like a fan of not so well edited books, then maybe you should skip this. There's no problem with the book. It's a very good book, and it kind of comes like a full circle at the end of the thing. But for me, I just felt like it was too long. A lot of things could be cut short. A lot of characters could be cut short. And now that I don't think I would have read this book if not for the Booktube prize, because I'm very picky choosy about the books that I read. But if you want to read it, please go ahead and read it. And the next book that I read was a book that I have not spoken about on this particular channel, and I mean, even if I've spoken about it, maybe you've not seen it yet. It's Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. Now, let me tell you, I really like this book a lot. This is again one of my very good reads from this year. I'm not sure if it will be in the top 10 or not, but this book affected me a lot. It talks about Martha, who is diagnosed with an ailment, a mental ailment, which is called X. The author did not want a stigma to be created around it, and it talks about what goes through in the family when you need to take care of someone with a mental illness, with something that's been diagnosed. And for me, I think I really appreciated the way the book was written. It was very uncomfortable at times. It was very difficult to read as well. But I think that I mean, at the end of it, I felt really good. And at the end of it, I felt bad as well, because it was something that had to be, addressed. Very nice book. I really liked it a lot. But I would say it's not for everyone. Like, not everyone will like this book. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Tread carefully with that. But I absolutely love this book a lot. And then we get to the last book, that is the sixth, the book of May. And for me, that is The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles. Yes, I know how to pronounce his name now. Again, I've covered this in my Booktube prize rankings video, which is again in the description box. But I like this book a lot. It's not bad, but I didn't like this book that much. I would recommend it. It's not like I won't recommend it, but for me, the way it ended did not work at all. Like, I really didn't like the way it ended. But okay, fine. I mean, it's a well-written book. The author is a brilliant one. He has a very good writing style, and I'm of course going to read his other books. The most famous being A Gentleman in Moscow. But yeah, you get my point. Good book, good writing. The ending just was not that great. But yeah, it was a good adventure, and I did like the book so and so. Okay, so now that we are done with May, I'm going to get to June, because June is a month where I read 4 books, but 4 of them were pretty good books. Okay, so the first book that I read was The World's Within You by Shreya Ramachandran, and this is the book. So this is a debut author, and she has written a book which surrounds mental illness. And I know Shreya is watching this, she's going to roll her eyes, because it's not only about mental illness, it's about family, it's about staying together, it's about how we have like a main character who is Sam, and she is technically suffering from depression, and she's trying to get her life together. Now, it's an interesting book. I really like the fact that a lot of things were thought of in this particular book, and I do recommend it. But the only thing is that the plot was a bit unidirectional, and that's why I did not give it a full 5. It was a 4 from my side. And if I think this book is best suited for young adults. Like if you're between 15 and 20, maybe this is the book that you should pick up, because it talks about a lot of relevant topics about college, family, and mental health in general. And that being said, the next book that I read was again a brilliant book, and that is The Bread the Devil Need by Lisa Allen Agostini. And for me, I would say this was one of those books. So basically, the book's written in Creole, right? This is a book from Trinidad and Tobago, and it's written in Trinidad Creole. It's a very interesting read. It talks about a main character who is Alethea. I think that's what she wants people to call her, and she is a victim of domestic abuse. It talks about her life, the way she's living her life. It talks about a lot of aspects of the culture in Trinidad and Tobago, and I really, really appreciated the way this was moving. Okay, I do recommend this book. It's a very unique book for sure. And if you're looking for books with regards to women and domestic violence, maybe there's a book that you should pick up. Again, it's written in Creole, and I hope that works for you. The next book that I read was a short audiobook, and that was A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Now, this book was doing rounds like all over Bookstagram and Booktube, and that's why I wanted to pick it up. I wanted something light after all of this reading, because I read a lot of heavy books in May. And also Leo from A Little Book Life and Smriti, of course, from Sant Reads, had recommended it like highly, right? And they were like, oh, it's just so cute, you should read it. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll end up reading it. And I ended up reading it, and I liked it. It's a very nice book. It's a very cute book. It's, it's like a post transitional world. Like, it's not a dystopia, it's not a utopia. It's just a world where robots or machinery is not used anymore, like a phone does not exist. And within this particular environment, there is a monk who stumbles upon a robot, and that's what the story is about. It's a very, I would say, eye-opening read at times. It's very reflective, it's very informative as well, and it talks about a dependency on machinery, and talks about humankind as a whole thing. And I really appreciated this book for its tidbits, although I wish it was like longer in size. That's why I ended up giving it 4 stars only. But yeah, if you're looking for a light, short, cute read, then this is the book that you should read for sure. And that being said, the last book that I read in the month of June is, of course, like a favorite. And it's somewhere there on my shelf, like you see the yellow thing, it's that book. It's Desperately Seeking Shahrukh by Shrayana Bhattacharya. Now, if you're an Indian and you do not know about this book, let me tell you, because this book is about teaching you the economics of the country, the status of women in the socio-economic and socio-political spectrum, by telling you about Shah Rukh Khan. Okay, so if you are a Shah Rukh Khan fan, this book is going to hit like an all new different, like it's going to hit you a notch above. But if you're not a Shah Rukh Khan fan like me, because I'm not like a huge Shah Rukh Khan fan, I think at the end of it you'll at least appreciate Shah Rukh Khan for who he is and what he is, and what he means to the women of this country, and why Bollywood is such like a huge thing in India. Now, if you are not an Indian and you want to read this book, I won't deny it. You please read it. But of course, you need to understand the culture of the country. You need to understand Bollywood in general and the craze that people have for Bollywood in order to understand the whole situation much better. So maybe, if you've been in any of the fandoms, then maybe this is the book you should pick up. The only difference is this is Bollywood and this is Shah Rukh Khan. The book has a very unique way of writing. I do have some complaints of the book, and I've already discussed that with Shrayana herself, which is very interesting. But the thing being this, that I highly recommend this book. I do think that everyone should read it, although it may get like, maybe you may feel like, oh my god, what am I reading? I don't want to read this. But then let me tell you, you need to persevere through the book, and the book is a treasure. Okay, it's a very good book, very well researched, and most importantly, pretty unique. And yes, this is the end of the video. I hope I post it soon enough because I've already filmed it. But that being said, yeah, thank you for all the patience. Thank you for all the love. I am trying to get back. I'm trying to get on track. It's not happening, but it will happen one day. Thank you so much for watching this. Bye.